Paula from Travel Family Academy. If you guys don't know what Travel Family Academy is, it's an academy created by parents for parents to help you navigate the travel world with your little one. The reason why we created this academy, just a little backstory before we get started, is we struggled when we first started wanting to travel, and we also been told so many times that we couldn't travel. So the goal with this academy is to help other parents start traveling with their kids successfully, stress-free, and with all the information that they have. So if you're here today, it means that you would like to know about traveling with an active toddler and what to expect. So first things first, I have a very active toddler, which took me a long time to, get the hang of it when it comes to traveling. So when we first started traveling, when he became a toddler, that's when everything started changing. So when he was a baby, it was so easy to fly with him because he would just sleep through it. Whatever time of the day we were flying, he would just sleep through it, and it was incredible. So, always thought he was going to be an incredible toddler, it's fine. No, as soon as he started walking or crawling or all of these phases, like the new challenge came, and with that more active, more physical demanding situation happened. So when you're planning for the airport, you kind of, especially with an active toddler, you have to plan ahead. There's no way of avoiding it, and you have to plan your airport time. So that's the first step, because you want to start enjoying your holiday from the moment you leave your house. You don't want to just make a plan for when you arrive at your destination, because then this whole flight thing, this whole airport experience is going to be a moot point, really, because you are not including it part of the trip. So you always know that you're going to struggle. You always know that you're going to feel stressful. You always know it's going to be unenjoyable. So you don't plan for this, and you don't expect it to be any better. So my advice to you is do plan ahead. Do plan for your airport time, because this is important when you have an active child, because this is the time where they're going to have some movement before they have to board. So that, at the airport, they get to move around, run around, and use this time wisely. So even if there's no playing areas, because some airports do not have them, get them walking with you, running, playing, engage with them. If you're going to grab a coffee, if you're going to grab a magazine, if you're going to grab a drink, whatever it is, just take them with you. Let them walk. If they're crawling, let them crawl. For time, super important. Enough time for it. Enough time, to do everything that you have to do as well. You have to go check in, you have to go for security, and then have enough time to engage before boarding. Remember that security and check-in can take a long time because of, there's a lot of people that are flying probably at the same time as you are. So you need to, plan ahead and make sure you have enough time for this. So I have once, one of my last flights, we managed to arrive. We arrived right in time, 2 hours before our flight. So, check-in was open, everything was perfectly timed. However, I did not do my research beforehand. I did not check what the airport's going to be like. This was Marseille Airport. The airport is pretty small, and it does not have enough infrastructures or people. So the queue for the check-in was super long, and it took me about half an hour to just get through the whole thing. Then you have a different queue to go drop off your check-in bag. So you check in your bag, get a little label, go to a different queue to place that bag in. And then from that queue, you have to go to the security, which again, another half an hour. So all of this left me with half an hour before having to board, which by then, that's when you start boarding. Not before boarding, actually, before flight was departing. So I was literally, by the time I was through with security, I had to start boarding. The problem with this was my toddler was sleeping beforehand, so he did not have enough time to, stretch his legs and, get some of the energy out. So when we got to the flight, it just wouldn't stop. It just wouldn't stop. He just wanted to jump around, run around, and all of this. So it was a very intense flight, and I was by myself as well. So I definitely don't recommend it. So make sure you do check your airport. Make sure you check you have enough time and you've planned ahead to make sure you do have enough time to get some of the energies out before you board. So now let's look at the flight. So you probably have a really long flight coming up and you're thinking, how the hell am I gonna get through this flight with my toddler that does not sit for more than 5 minutes? So you already know you have to get to the airport in time, with enough time to get them moving and get all of the wiggles out for the flight. By this point, he should be calm and steady and should be able to sit for at least 30 minutes to 1 hour without a fuss. But again, you will still need to engage with them, you'll still need some entertainment, and you'll still need, to be present. So make sure that you bring some activities that you can play with them. They can play, I Spy, or just engaging with them, really. You can look at stuff, the colors, see try and find some items around the airplane, things like that you can engage and just simply have a fun game to play, the two of you. Another thing is a tablet. The tablets work really well, especially for travel. I know most people are not very keen on screens, but for traveling it is quite helpful. Like for me, for instance, for my toddler, it's when I need him to stop and he just doesn't want to, he just wants to move around and wants to go crazy. A tablet really works, and it might just work for 15 minutes, but at least it works at the time that I need him to, which is probably when the seatbelt sign is on and things like that. So it is really good to have this available with you. Make sure you just download everything before you board, because without the Wi-Fi it can be heartbreaking when you arrive, like the flight is just apart and then you realize you don't have anything downloaded with you. So make sure you do that beforehand. Another thing I will say for the airplane is allowing them to move. I just talked about how to keep them sat, but now allowing them to move. I know this is a choice that you can make yourself, but for me, I cannot go a whole flight without letting him out of his seat and go up and down the aisle, for instance, for a few times, walk him to the toilet and coming back, because he needs that movement. That movement allows him just 5 minutes. That's all he needs. Not even. 5 minutes of movement allows him to sit down for another 30 minutes, playing, coloring, doing his games without having, being annoyed and stressed and feeling contained, So again, I will repeat this because this is a choice that you can make. Obviously, some people do not feel like this is safe for the child, and that's fair enough. But I will not stop doing this, because even myself, I need to move around when I'm sat for a few hours. Like just going to the toilet is really relieving. So for my legs, so I do the same for him, and we just walk around and then we sit down back again, and he stays for a bit longer, and then we repeat. We do this for how long the flight is. As long as we have a little bit of time to move, we will do it. But if you do this, you just have to be considerate about the flight attendants and other people. So make sure you are with your toddler at all times, or if you're not with your toddler, just make sure that they're being taken care of, and don't do this during service, because you're just going to be on the way. So make sure to be considerate of others at all times. Lastly, I'll say don't forget to prepare food for your toddler, and water, of course. If they are anything like my toddler, they like to snack, they like to drink, they are very big on eating, and believe it or not, that's actually a really good way of entertaining. Like having food and drinks is a good way of spending 20 minutes just playing with the food. So if you have like a variety of snacks, like small snacks that you can bring along, just do that, and you will see, like you can play with them. You can be like, what color is this snack, or what shape is it? Make a fun game out of it. It's great for them to play with the food, and they enjoy it and they have a lot of fun. So I would definitely recommend using that with your toddler. This is one thing I will definitely say and always say is make sure you clean after yourself when you leave the flight. It's very sad to see when you leave the flight and the mess that people make. I know sometimes it's hard to clean because it's just gone everywhere, but make sure you do clean it as much as you can before you leave the flight. Okay, I said the other one was gonna be the last, but this is actually the last one. This is a really important one. Stay positive, and calm and don't overthink it. At the end of the day, you are this kid's parents, like you know better how to, control them, what they need, not control them, but you know what they need, like you have been there since they were born, like you have been there. You have always been there for them. So nobody else knows this better than you. Obviously, there are things that you don't know. For instance, if you've never flown with your baby, you don't know what to expect. But if there's something that happens, you know better than anyone, like how to handle it. So like if your child toddler starts crying, you'll instantly know, does he need to be entertained? Does he need to move around? Does he need to eat? Does he have a poop? Like all of these things, like you know better than anyone else. Like nobody knows your child better than you. So you'll know what they all need. So knowing this and making a plan in your head and doing your research and knowing exactly what to expect, not exactly what to expect because you'll never know what to expect, but expecting anything and being prepared for the worst. I mean, this sounds really bad when I say it this way, but it's true. Like actually feeling like you're prepared for whatever tantrum comes their way. Like you've seen the worst tantrums in his life so far, so you just plan around them and see how did you manage to deal with them. And then you just bring this plan with you to the airplane and you're sorted, honestly. Like, I can't repeat this enough. Nobody knows your child better than you, and you got this, and you got this. Okay, so this is it for my first part on expectations with traveling with active toddlers. If you do want to hear more about it, if you have any questions, please comment them below. If you have any particular topics that you want us to cover on flying with toddlers, just let us know in the comments as well, and we will get on that. If you're flying with your toddler soon or your baby, make sure to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, or follow us on Instagram. We share everything on flying with babies and toddlers. So if you have any questions, I am sure we will give them to you. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.